And we're back, y'all.
We're back, y'all.
This is Poetry Slam with
Kudos!
your boy Napoleon B. Mate.
And the 9 to 5 working man, TayDZ.
Why you lying?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. And the 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. working man, TayDZ. Is that better? Is that better? Exactly. Why the singular snap, Bellz? Why?
Did you know you're 5 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
Sometimes. Once I did that.
Welcome back to the show, TayDZ. I hear you got some poetry news for us today.
Why, yes. TayDZ has some poetry news for y'all today. For you see, it is news, but also a sort of, let's say, social commentary from TayDZ today. Now, I don't know if y'all saw the report. It really shouldn't have been a report, became a report about the girl on social media who was crying because of her 9 to 5 job.
Huh?
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, snap. Okay. Let me regale you. So this girl was on social media, right? And she's complaining about her 9 to 5 job. She's actually crying about it. She's a young girl, probably early 20s. She's Gen Z.
Oh,
And
man.
she's complaining about her job. She's saying, I can't, working this 9 to 5 and a job I don't like. And then also I don't live close to this job. And so my commute is even longer. This job is in the city, a city that I can't even afford to live in. So my commute is so long, I'm basically, about half of my day is taken up. Actually, even half her day. Like most of her day is taken, I'll say about 12 hours of her day is taken up from the commute back and forth in the actual job. And she barely even has time to do the things she likes, to hang out with the people that she cares about, hang out with family, friends, And people, of course, lambasted her on social media. Older generations, older millennials, Gen X, baby boomers, all of them. Anyone who's probably like 35 plus and up was basically trying to rag on her. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Nothing that she said was wrong.
Exactly. I thought this was another Gen Zer just giving us a bad name. Complaining. No. I thought when you started it off, I thought it was another Gen Zer giving us a bad name and complaining about stuff that about the 9 to 5 job in general, not about the commute. And then once you got deeper, I was like, oh yeah, she has a valid point.
Very good point. Come on. I understand that everyone likes to take put up the high road and act like they've, you just gotta suck it up, buttercup. You got a job you don't like? Ha ha ha. So do we. How about you go ahead and just take it? Ha ha. But let's be real. How many of us have woken up, looked at that clock, it says 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. You looked at your bed and you thought to yourself, man, what if I just laid here? Didn't think about the job. Didn't think about going in that office building, going into that construction site, going into that cubicle, going into that warehouse and having to do this job. What else could I be doing with this time? Boy, I love to sleep. Maybe get up and plant some trees or something. Go hang out with some friends and hold hands with somebody, maybe. Like, We've all had that moment. And yeah, they can tell you to suck it up, buttercup, but and they'll say, why are you complaining on social media? But you know what? Kudos to her. Kudos to her. Because you know what? She went on the internet knowing she might get clowned by people. And she basically put out the thoughts that all of us have basically thought.
Yeah. Yeah. My commute to work isn't that long. So
2 hours is like that's 2 hours a day commuting. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. My commute to work isn't that long, but I do, even though I don't work till later. I understand how she feels. Because you wake up, you're like, I gotta do this, and this before I go to work. If you have a night job, you wake up, you gotta be like, okay, I gotta get stuff done before I go to work. I gotta eat too to make sure I'm nourished enough to do my job efficiently and effectively.
Also, your circadian rhythm is beyond foobar.
Exactly. So I'm actually longing for that early morning start. Not necessarily late finish, but like that. I'm longing for the 9 to 5.
And before I pass it off to y'all, I do want to say I think her biggest point is, and I hate to sound so nihilistic, but this is her biggest point was essentially, imagine, right? You grew up this whole time. Everyone's telling you, go to college, go to school, do this. School's going to get you your degree and you're going to be able to do this. You get your degree in this and you'll be able to, the doors will open. And then next thing you know, working at Starbucks, you're working for Amazon, you're working for, Panera or something. And then you really look at it and you think to yourself,
this isn't what I went to school for.
Not even just that. You think to yourself, this is it, huh? 18 years of primary school, 4 years of college, if you did college. So, this is just my life till I die, huh? Hey, Bellz, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, her commute is a part-time job. Like, whew. And then, it's kind of crazy. I get articles in my Google feed about people who are overemployed. Like, they have remote jobs, like, online. And they have, like, 2 or more full-time jobs just for the money. And they're, like, juggling all of this stuff. I guess these are people who are in an age bracket where they've already been working. Like, just not the group who's been introduced to the workforce, because this girl is 21 years old. She just graduated college, but also she went to college during COVID. So her classes were like online. And that's a big transition. Like, even if you don't have that experience of like online education and then you go into the workforce, entering the workforce, it's just a big deal. It takes a lot of like energy out of you. And I think the demand, I don't think anything prepares you for the demand. I think you're kind of right when you say that, we're sold a dream that you go to college and you get like a job to support yourself. And then I guess we see on TV, we see people like having enough time to go hang out with friends and, like have parties on the weekends. But if you're like one of the lowest, like on one of the lowest rungs of the ladder, like you work so hard and you feel so tired. It's not a bad thing working for Starbucks or for Target, but if you're a sales associate and you're on your feet all day versus if you're someone who's like the digital content manager and you're like up in an office, first of all, your pay is different if you're up in the office, and second, it's less demanding physically.
And the biggest thing for me, and probably for a lot of young people, is that you get to this point where you thought to yourself, well, I didn't go to school for this. Like B-My said, yeah, I didn't go to school for this, and you feel so unfulfilled. Like, and people will drag, no, for anyone older who drags on, young people for getting useless degrees and useless majors.
Every degree is useless if you can't get a job in your field. Like, what? Or like the job you get, it's not sufficient for a lifestyle.
But so like my thing is like, people will rag on you for getting such a useless degree, and then they'll say to you, maybe it should have been an electrician. Maybe you should have gotten training to be a plumber. What if I didn't want to be an electrician or a plumber? Why is it that we have to conform to a societal standard in order to enjoy life? Why is it that I can't follow my dream and do something that I want to do? I'm not saying I am not obligated to enjoy things because I want them. I'm not obligated to my dreams. However, don't sit there and criticize me for my dreams because I want to do something that makes me happy with the way I live my life. Because if the point of life is to be happy. It is to enjoy life. Nothing else to it. The meaning of life is to enjoy it. And if I'm being an electrician, I'm not enjoying it. I don't want to be an electrician.
Hey, you're sounding very, very anti-hustle culture right now. I mean, I'm for it. Yeah. I think you can follow your passion and be productive.
That's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm putting out job applications. Jobs want certain requirements, stuff you didn't get in school. You have to go to a second school or like go further in your education in order to get those certifications, in order to get those experiences. And by the time unless you're going for psychology or a doctorate or a doctorate in psychology or a medical degree, by the time you graduate from the undergrad, you're burnt out. So you don't want to go back to school. You're already thousands of dollars in debt, and you're just tired of school. So it's like, and then when especially being someone who went to college during COVID, it's like you can't get that hands-on experience that you wanted or you needed to get those requirements or to get those tech classes or whatever. And again, you're thousands of dollars in debt because Congress wouldn't pass the student debt forgiveness bill, and you're mad, and you're working just to pay off your bills, your student loan bills, and not doing what you really want to do.
And the thing is, houses are expensive.
Yes.
There's nothing. It's so hard to simply enjoy life now as a young person, in the same way that like your parents, when they were your age, enjoyed it. Your parents could buy a house for not cheap, but they could buy a house cheaper than what it is now.
Exactly.
By the time they were 24, your grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah, like By the time your parents were probably 28, they probably had a house. Like,
I mean, we definitely live in a different economy. Like back then, it was definitely a culture of you didn't even have to go to college to get a job that paid you enough to have a lifestyle. Like you could get a promotion at work or just work enough hours at a job or even have a main job, a part-time, and maybe like another little hustle. You could work enough to live. But now it's like if you have a minimum wage paying job and a part-time job, you still may not even be able to get an apartment.
Yep. So, and then I saw something really crazy once where someone said, if you can't afford the housing in the area, just move.
Huh? How can you?
She said, just move to another state where you can afford it. So, in order to enjoy life, I need to move to Idaho.
Pretty much. You gotta move to Wyoming or Idaho to build up your money, just so you can move back to your state if you want, or even move to another state.
Yeah. Well, so we're all moving to Wyoming, aren't we?
Yep.
I'm moving to Wyoming. I feel like it's easier to move from a place with a higher cost of living to a lower cost of living than from lower cost of living to higher cost of living. Like, like the wage in Wyoming is enough to live in Wyoming. Like you can't take that and live in LA. Like you can't take that and live in like Maryland unless you're living in the mountains of Maryland. Like what?
Well, you can build up your coin enough to move back or move to another.
Is
now see, the strat is to move to New York City, save up money while living in a cardboard box, and then come back to Maryland.
Exactly.
Everywhere is less expensive than New York. New York City.
Yeah. And LA and New York. That's a story for next week, though.